Hi everyone, and welcome again to my audiovisual channel. My name is Gabriela Handal, I'm a draftsman, and today I bring you episode 5 of Reference versus Artwork. Because I finished a drawing recently, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. This drawing. The drawing that I finished is a copy, actually, of a painting by William Holman-Hunt. It's his painting, The Bride of Bethlehem. Okay, so before we go ahead, please remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and all of those things, and also check out the links in the video description if you want to be really supportive of the channel. All of those things, any of those things are very helpful. And also, as usual, I'm going to timestamp the video in case you want to skip around and skip a part and go directly to some part of the video. Okay, so let's first see. Actually, let me first bring the Photoshop here to the front, and actually let me make myself a little smaller here, and so that I can chat. Okay, so let's start with this side by side here. Alright, so here on the left we have William Holman-Hunt's drawing, painting, and on the right we have my drawing. Okay, so I'm not sure what it's supposed to be called, what I did. I don't know if it's a master copy, I don't know if it's a copy, I don't know if it's a study, I'm not sure, because I'm copying a painting and what I did was a drawing, and you know, it's not one-to-one. So I don't really know what it's called. At first I meant for it to be a study. That's like something that happened, that kind of like my intention sort of changed as I was working on the drawing because I was enjoying the drawing. At first I intended it only as a study, but then I developed it way more than I would have. I mean, I think it's too developed to be a study. So then that's what happened, and the drawing is free-handed. I don't use grids or tracing or projection or any of that stuff. So, like I said just now, it's not one-to-one. The proportion of my picture plane, you know, like the area that I used for my drawing, is slightly different than the painting because it's a little narrower than the painting. Because I mean, I just eyeballed everything. And my drawing is, I think it's 10.5 by 14.5. I don't remember how big the size of William Holman-Hunt's painting is. But anyway, I of course intended to try to fit the entire image in my drawing, but that ended up not happening. I guess we can go back and forth between this image and the painting now. So this is a better look at the painting. Yeah, so one of the reasons, so the main reason I was drawn or attracted to this image is because I find her facial expression just accurate. I haven't been able to find like some kind of an analysis or I don't know, Hunt's writings on the painting or something like that to know what the painting necessarily is about. All I have to go on is the title and, you know, the artist. William Holman-Hunt was a devout Catholic guy, and it's called The Bride of Bethlehem, so this is the Virgin Mary. And what I speculate based on that information is that this is kind of like the theme of the painting is kind of the flavor of an annunciation, and she's being informed that she is going to give birth to Jesus Christ, and she is kind of receiving that information and sort of accepting it. I have an analysis of this painting, which I also mean to, I have up as I intend it as an ongoing series as well, like this one. I'm gonna link that video in the description if you want to have a look. So anyway, the facial and bodily expression of the portrait is, I think, just deftly done, which is what attracted me very much to the painting, to the image, because she's kind of looking up, towards the heavens, towards the skies, and it's kind of like an open expression. And this is going to be similar to the other video of the kind of uncouth analysis that I did of this painting, just to kind of look for the words that I like to describe it. But yes, her eyes are open, she's looking up. I mean, not her eyes are open, obviously, but like her kind of like herself is open in a way, because she's open to what's going to happen. And I just feel like that is something that is difficult to depict. And the expression is one of kind of commitment and acceptance, but in a calm sort of way. She's not afraid. She's not excited. It's very calm, very relaxed, all the while maintaining the physical palpability of reality, because, there's still the musculature of her face, her skin. It has like, the skin has all of, like, the surface of her skin has the different, like, the variation in color that all skin normally has, like under the eyes, the lips, the cheeks, like the flush of youth, the physical feeling of the fabric, of the different fabrics that she's wearing, the metal that she's wearing. And we have this change of color here of, for example, another example of a change of color of the veins on her hands, just beneath the skin. So these are some of the reasons for which I was interested and intrigued by trying to make a copy of the drawing, of the painting. So kind of starting with the portrait, and I mean, classic habit that I have is that when there's a portrait involved, it's kind of like the portrait that I'm attracted to, and kind of like the portrait that I get into and that I develop most first. And that was going pretty well when I was making when I started the drawing. And then I was like, I really should try to also work with the other things, the fabric, the jewelry, whatever the hell that blue thing on the neck is. It's like some kind of a necklace that I, to this day, do not understand exactly what it is. I asked on the Instagram, and I got some speculation, but like no name of what this jewelry type thing could possibly be called. Also, there's a hint of a background. To me, it kind of looks like, actually looks kind of like my background here. It looks like a sheet that's brown. But yes. So I started the drawing, the portrait. I was into the portrait because that's what attracts me the most. And then I started working on the other things, and I wanted to do it quickly because it was a study still at first. But then I was like, also classic habit that it's like I start wanting to work on it just a little bit more, just a little bit more, just a little bit more. And kind of just went around all like that. So, yes. All right, so then let's look at the drawing. This one is what I mean. So this is the drawing. I used graphite on paper. The paper is Strathmore paper. And as I said, it's, what size did I say? 10.5 by 14.5. So when I was trying to work more quickly at the beginning of the drawing, I was using just a, a pencil, but I was also using a brush, two brushes, a small one and a big one, and powdered graphite. Because as I said, it was meant to be a study and I was trying to work quickly. And so even though I'm perfectly capable of making very smooth things similar to what you do when you use the brush, the soft bristle brush and powdered graphite, I was under the impression that I was working quickly, or that I wanted to work quickly. So for example, hopefully you find this type of minutia interesting on the procedure of what happens when one makes a drawing. So this side of her headdress, or fabric, the fabric on her head, this is done mostly, actually a blending stump. I also use the blending stump. Using a blending stump, the powdered graphite, the brush, and pencil here and there. But then come to this, especially this area, this is all graphite. Just, I mean, a pencil. Because when I got to this point, I was just like, I mean, I'm obviously just deep into the boonies, and I just draw with that with which I have most control, which is the pencil. So yes, I used several different pencils, and I don't remember them. The reason for which I don't really care that much is because so generally for a drawing, any drawing, I use one pencil. Because I think I've kind of mentioned this before in other videos, that I think one should be capable of having the entire grayscale at your hand with one pencil. It's perfectly possible. So that's what I tend to do. I don't care for using the harder pencils for sketching, and then the whatever for the whatever, and the whatever for the whatever. It's just like I just kind of get a pencil that is kind of mid-range, and then just lighten my hand for the sketch and make my hand heavier for the darker things, and soften it for this and harden it for whatever, like that type of stuff. But the thing is that I have several pencils that I have started on. Let me see if I can show you here where I keep my pencils, like in this type of thing that I have started, and I wanted to use them. Some of them start to get really small, like this here, for example. They get small, and then because I don't see them anymore, I forget about them, and then I don't use them, and then I just go look for another new pencil. So whenever I make a drawing in the recent past, I've been trying to look specifically for the smallest pencils, and then use that one pencil for a drawing, and if it runs out, I just look for another pencil that is more or less similar and continue the drawing with that. So yeah, I don't remember all of the pencils that I used. I think I used a Tombow B, Blackwing Pearl, Blackwing 602, and I think I actually started with a Staedtler, but I don't remember what it was. And as far as the surface, like I just said, it's Strathmore sketch paper. So also another thing, when I started the drawing, like again, I meant for it to be really fast. I was drawing so I'm on my desk right now. I have my table here, and I had a piece of wood, like a drawing board, and I had the drawing here down in front of me, like, so I was just drawing quickly like this. But then when I was working, I wanted to work on it a lot more, I put it up on the easel, and I had the maul stick and the whole shebang. Yes. So again, yes, the drawing is free-handed. I don't use grids, tracing, or projecting. And so, you know, that's kind of the kind of fitting, I think that fitting stuff into the picture plane with correct proportion and, you know, trying to reproduce the image free-handed is its own skill. And like I said earlier, one of the reasons for which I wanted to try to copy this was to challenge myself, because I want to be a universal artist the way that Leonardo da Vinci says an artist should be, meaning that you should be able to draw everything well, not just portraits, for example, or not just like, I don't know, still lives or whatever. Like, not specialize, be universal. So it's a slow path, but whatever. I'm starting somewhere. So anyway, all of that to say that I obviously need more practice in just drawing in general in order to be able to fit it. Like, if I want to make a copy of something, or really if I want to fit anything into a picture plane, even if I'm drawing from life or from imagination, in order to be able to fit things into the picture plane. So I think I actually started with the, just like her face. I wouldn't be able to tell you. Because I don't remember, but I might have started like with her face, for example, on my drawing, instead of having started with like the contour of the fabric, and then kind of maybe trying to fit that silhouette into the paper. And so things ended up kind of spreading in a way, and so the portrait itself is not exactly it's not placed on the picture plane in the same way that his painting is. The hands got cut off here. The fabric on the optical left here, it's like, on my drawing, it's like touching the edge of the picture plane, this type of stuff, you know. And there's other more minute things, I guess, if you really want to nitpick. I think there's slight differences in the features. I mean, there's differences for sure in the features. I think my nose, her nose in my drawing turned out a little shorter, and this area here with the cartilage, I think it's a little bit smaller, and I think her mouth is a bit farther down compared, you know, even though the end result in my drawing is perfectly fine as a standalone image, you know, in the sense that hopefully, I mean, I think that if you were to see my drawing, you would be able to recognize, I mean, if you saw my drawing, if you know, and you know of Holman-Hunt's work, you would be able to recognize what the source material is. So like, yeah, if I was to put this on top, if I was to put my drawing on top of his painting, like, it's not going to be one-to-one. But I don't know. I'm not necessarily sure that was strictly the purpose. I guess it was, and it's just an inaccurate end result, even though it's still, I mean, I like it just fine, and I'm very happy with the final drawing. So yes. So all right, so then there's this whole other thing of translating a painting into a drawing. So I mean, I think the background was relatively easy because it's just a degradation of one color, but then when you're talking about a surface that has lots of different colors, that where each color has its own shadows happening, then that's perhaps when things start to get difficult. And also, like, one of the most difficult parts for me was this device this blue and green device here. It reminds me, present still, it still happens, of a choker type necklace that I have that's made out of glass that has little green and blue leaves. But this does not look to me like glass. So, I mean, it's just one of those, I don't know, difficulties of the trade, I guess, where you know, the shorthand, the interpretation, trying to understand what's happening. It's like, why does this shadow look this way, this type of stuff. I have no idea what this object is. So then when I went to draw it, like, never mind the, you know, the shadows and tones, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of like, if you know, if you get close enough to anything, any part of the body, anything at all, it's an abstract. Like, it's all an abstract, and it's just like a change, you know, it's just colors and shapes changing into other colors and shapes. Like, that's, everything is that, you know. But then and I tried to do that very thing, but at the same time, because there's also the change, so like, not just from color to monochrome, or not monochrome, but I mean, yeah, but you know, like grayscale, there's the change from one medium to another. So there's a lot of things that look the way they do because it's made with a brush, versus other things that look the way they do because it's a pencil. So then it's like, I'm not trying to make my drawing look like a painting. I want it to look like a drawing because it's a drawing. So there's a lot of things that, where's that most obvious? I guess, for example, here in the fabric in particular, perhaps, there's parts where it's obvious to me that it's the result of a brush, you know, like the bristles kind of spreading. Like, if you have bristles of a brush that are saturated with thick creamy oil paint, and then it spreads over a surface that already had wet paint, or has canvas texture, or has dried paint underneath, you know, that it's gonna look in a way. And I think, for example, these lines here on her dress are kind of pretty obvious examples of that. Here also on her headdress, like this, I mean, this looks to me like obvious brush strokes, you know. For example, here, this white paint here as well. And so there are things that I'm not trying to imitate that kind of stuff in my drawing. So what are the brush strokes trying to talk about here? It's like, oh, this is the lightest part of the fabric. So then I try to do something of the sort while still maintaining the information that my reference is giving me. So there's kind of invention in a way, you know, because I have to make a decision about how to depict that which I don't understand, and that which the brush strokes were doing, like the physicality of the brush and the paint is doing on the canvas, like that type of stuff. You see what I'm saying? So, like, for example, there was also all of the chains, well, particularly these, I guess, like, they're not super explicit, but so, like, part of the thing with when you have a really skilled hand when you draw and you paint is that your shorthand is really good, in the sense that you don't have to explicitly make every little chain. You know, part of the interpretation is maybe sometimes just making like little taps with your brush or whatever, and then, or whatever it is that you'll do, and then that is enough to have it look like what you're trying to depict. You know, so then there's, you know, if I was making the painting, it's like, all right, do I want to go the hyper-realist type thing where I want to draw each little chain and know that it's going back there and have it be obvious? No, you don't want to do that. It's like, that's also part of the point of making an image. It's like it's the filtering, the curating, and the discernment of the artist. Because the artist is making deliberate decisions about what to show you and how to show you what he's looking at, you know. So yes. So yeah, I think this part of her metal jewelry is a good example because these are the decisions I made based on my source material, you know. And some things are sharp, some things are more blurry, and I kind of tried to go with that to help me put the information in my drawing. And so the end result turned out this way. And also, oh, for example, I mean, speaking of not going into all the minutiae of the details, it's like these coins up here on this part of the headdress. I'm not particularly interested in necessarily going into every little detail of what is happening in each surface of the coin and what image is that, you know. And I mean, Holman-Hunt, I don't think necessarily was either, because I think these little letters or numbers are completely illegible. You know, they're not Roman numbers. I don't know what they are. So there's also limits, even though he was a pre-Raphaelite, and they were notorious for, I mean, that was like the point of the pre-Raphaelites, to be faithful to what they were looking at and depict what you're looking at. You know, you still have to pick and choose where to stop and where to summarize and where to be explicit about stuff. So if we look at the headdress part, but you know, like I went pretty sketchy with the coins on her forehead here. But then I quite enjoyed the information that I'm getting on the this ribbon where the coins are attached, because each coin is attached via, I don't know, a thread or something, but then that is making pressure on the ribbon. And so, you know, there's like this kind of thicker part here on which the little ring or whatever it is kind of tied around, you know. And so I just like that, kind of like the strand going into the ribbon and coming out of the other side and sort of hanging there, and therefore making kind of like a dent on the ribbon, and then that information being provided there. And I enjoyed that a lot. Also being able to depict it in my drawing. So then the thicker part of the ribbon on both sides of the ribbon is here as well, because I liked that. So yes. I made notes about stuff that I don't want to forget. And I think that might be about it. I enjoyed this drawing. This drawing has a home already, which is really great. And yeah, today it's close to Christmas, so that's cool. It's a nice coincidence, and I think I'm gonna leave it at that. Please let me know what you think. You know, like what, I don't know, what challenges do you set for yourself in order for you to become a better artist? What are your goals? How do you work on your skill? And I think that's going to be it. Thanks again for watching. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And let me know what you think, and have a fantastic day.